Good morning everybody, and this is your DAX day trade setups for today. So just going to start off on the weekly because there is a very strong level here that we have been flirting with. It first came into play in April 2021. You can see that was kind of where we first turned off it, and then you can look through and you can see the couple of areas where we tried to bounce off it. We rejected it quite strongly here over 3 weeks. We tried to reject it here, confused, got through it, then we're trying to flip it into support here. So this is 15,517, or just rounded off to 15,500. That's kind of the level that is in play at the moment. Now the big thing here is look at the oscillators on the weekly. This is a complete different picture to what's happening on the S&P. S&P is slowly flipping into sort of a bearish setup on the higher time frames with a big head and shoulders on it. But what we're seeing here is still a megaphone formation. So I can basically just do that, and that is my diagonal trend line support. So we do have gaps. We've got a lot of gaps to the downside on this. And if I just look left, look at all these tails here from 2021 where we were trying to get this thing moving to the upside. Didn't quite work out. But nevertheless, what we're seeing here could be a massive engulfing weekly bar which is going to take out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of price action. So it's the last 6 weeks where we've been floundering around, going sideways. We could end up with a big engulfing bar. However, with all this divergence here and these oscillators, I'm a little bit reluctant just to jump in short and assume that this is what's going to transpire. Because there's a strong possibility that we just close here, wake up next week, Monday morning, and then push it up. So we just continue in this range. Okay, so there's a lot going on, and I think let's just get down to the structures. So firstly, if you look at it in hindsight, being a perfect science, we've kind of been in a downtrend, although it's been a messy downtrend for the last 4 weeks. Now, last week we had this big move up, and then we've had a big move down. We've had a bit of a flag and a second leg down. So, if you look at it like that, move down, flag, move down, I think that measured move there is finished. And if you just get down to the levels we're interested in, you can see there's my move, here's my flag, my second move down, and here was another one that transpired. You can see a move down, bit of a pullback to try and find structure, and then down. So I suspect, and if you look left, this is a strong little zone here. Let's just put that'll cover all three. So you can see this tail here, that tail. That is pretty much a very strong area of where I would expect price to reject off. I'm just going to add one more here, being that one there. So that's kind of the area that I'm watching. Now if you drop down to the 1 hour and have a very close look at what happened in that zone, you can see tail to the downside, tail to the upside. Big rejection yesterday. I think I was just before the US Open or just on the US Open. You can see the big rejection there. But there was, and we'll look at the hindsight now, there was a structure there. You can see we broke through that in the morning, then we came back up. And I'm just going to pick up the level. So there's another one there, you can see. Now if I drop down to 15 minute, you'll see where your short opportunities were. So there was your first one. As we said yesterday, that was your first shorting opportunity. There was another one here, a bit of a messy one. I think this story of threes here, you can see there low, high, low. That's the head and shoulders. If you look at it on a 1 minute, 3 minute, whatever, it'll be the head and shoulders. And you can see it was also rejection of levels structure to the left here, right over here, the swing low here. So there was definitely opportunities here. You are below the moving averages, so you want to be going with the trend. So yeah, you can actually get in. Get in there, sort of around there, and then put your stop up there. It's a 40-point stop loss, and you could still basically be in that trade now. So I'm looking at all of this. I'm just going to bring this level down here. This messy area that I've got in now on the charts is the levels I want to be paying attention to. 15,550, 15,564, and if it goes up any higher than that, then definitely look at those things. But I think this zone here is the first area. Look at the oscillators already. That's what we're looking for. So I'm suspecting this to continue. We are at a big weekly support level. So that's this one right here. That's at 15,517. If we close below this, I suspect this next weekly level is definitely within reach at 15,432. But getting weekly closes below these two levels here is going to be telling, because I think it's going to open up the floodgates for a bit of a bigger move to the downside. So that's kind of my structure for today. Definitely looking at 15,500, 15,550, sorry, 15,550, 15,564, and 15,586. So that's kind of the zones that I'm looking at. You're going to have to just look left on the 15-minute, and each one of these swing lows, each one of these fractals here are going to offer resistance. And that's where you want to be waiting for a short. As long as we stay below the 150 EMA on the 15-minute, the trend is down, and same applies on the hour. You can see yesterday was pretty much a fairly strong downward trend, and I suspect that that is going to continue. Lastly, I just want to just close off on the monthly, and you can see how with all those levels within that zone, see how strong that support area is. As you can see, we've had the last 2 months, we haven't broken below that. But if you look at the monthly oscillators, complete different picture to what's happening on the weekly. So I have a strong feeling here that you're probably looking at a potential break to the downside. It's going to be messy, it's going to be hard, but we are targeting something a lot lower down. And there is a gap here. That would be the first one. If we get down to this one, we're going to aim for that gap. We're going to aim for this gap. Then we're going to have to see what happens, because there's still more of these gaps all the way down to the lows of last year. Okay, so anyway, that's a longer term picture. I think for today, you're looking for shorts, you're looking to be short off structure, and take the 15 or even the 5-minute chart if you're lucky enough to be able to sit and watch the charts today. You're going to be looking for rejection of this area for a short. And obviously it'll be going against the trend on the lower time frames, but the higher time frames is what your trend should dictate. Anyway, hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you on Monday morning. Enjoy your weekend, and hope you make some money today. Cheers for now.